afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm your host, Dr. Haider Shah. On behalf of Kalwas, I would like to welcome all of you to this webinar. Thank you very much for joining us. Today, we have another very interesting topic, and I'm really honored to welcome and introduce our distinguished guest speaker, who is going to talk about how to publish in high impact journals. In today's highly competitive academic landscape, getting your research published in high impact journal is not only a mark of distinction but also a critical step towards advancing your career and sharing your discoveries with the world. But the journey to successful publication can be challenging, filled with uncertainties and obstacles. So, this webinar aims to explain the process of publishing in high impact journals, equipping you with the essential insights, strategies, and practical tips to enhance your chances of acceptance. So, you will get the best insights about all these things because we have an expert with us in today's this session. So, stay tuned because amazing stuff are coming ahead in this session. So, before we start, I would like to thank Kalwas for arranging such enlightenment sessions for their support and providing us such a wonderful platform. The aim of Kalwas is to give you the opportunity to connect and interact with world renowned speakers, academic leaders, teachers, authors, researchers, experts, professionals, and businessmen to learn from their experiences, recommendations, and suggestions, which will create an impact and will enable you to learn and develop yourself in order to grow and transform individually as well as to contribute to the world in a positive way. As our slogan, learn and share knowledge. So today we have amazing person as guest. He is an internationally known and recognized speaker, having a vast and wonderful exposure. He's always there to support, and he's a great human being that always share his knowledge on different platforms. So let me introduce him formally. He is currently working as assistant professor in information system at the BRAC School Business, the BRAC University, Dhaka, Bangladesh, and received his PhD majoring in management sciences and engineering with specialization in information system from the School of Management, Hozong University of Science and Technology host, Wuhan, China. His research interests are in the information system, predictive analytics, machine learning. He has published 44 journal articles in numerous top ranked journals successfully and four conference papers. Along with that, his major publications are in the information science, information system, the telematics and informatics, Internet of Things, Journal of Retailing and Consumer Services, Information Technology for Development, Enterprise Information System, Children and Youth Service Review, Journal of Community Psychology, Energy, and many more. In addition to that, he received the Excellent Academic Award at host for three consecutive years 2018 to 2019, 2019 to 2020, and 2020 to 2021. He was also awarded the host 2022 honorary international graduate for outstanding research performance. Along with that, he is serving as academic editor for the journal Plus One, that is Scopus Q1, and it is also the SCIE Q1 ranked journal and a regular reviewer of numerous renowned journals. During his career, he has been involved in more than 100 academic, social, and market research projects. Last but not the least, he's a wonderful speaker, author, teacher, researcher, and a professional, and above everything, a great human being. So please help me in welcoming our guest, Dr. Najmul Hasan. Welcome to the Kalwas platform, and thank you very much for joining us, Prof.
Thank you, Professor Shah. Thank you. I think you told many things about me, but I'm not such a big person. I think I'm a lifelong learner. Still, I'm learning. Even today morning, actually, after closing your session at the very early morning in BDT Bangladesh time, 5 o'clock at morning, I have another learning session from Australia. So
Wow.
I'm a lifelong learner, right? So I'm learning, doing and learning and applying my knowledge and try to share my knowledge to the scholarly world actually, right? That's it, I think so.
Thank you very much, and we really appreciate your positivity and your contribution to the field and accepting our invitation to share your knowledge. So, a gentle reminder to the audience that Prof will be presenting, and he will leave time for question answer session at the end of the session. If you have any question, you can write in comment section or you can email us at info@callwas.com. So, over to you, Prof. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I can. It's just I'm just sharing this presentation. So it's visible. Can you please ensure me it's visible or not?
Yes, Prof. You are loud and clear, and you and the slides are visible to our audience.
Visible. Oh, that's great.
Thank you.
So today's topic is actually publishing at high impact factor journal, right? So without any introduction, I'm just going to the main part. Actually, we have limited time, resource, right? So just jump to the main. Yeah. Actually, what types of manuscript we are talking about? Normally, we have five types of manuscript, right? Number one is the research paper, review paper. Review paper, it means normally or popularly known as by systematic literature review or literature review paper, right? And in some cases, some short communication, case study, and method paper. So we are talking about today the research paper. So it's mostly known as the journal manuscript, right? So we'll not talk about the, and also we'll talk about the review article. I mean, systematic literature review, right? So we will not talk about the short communication and case study and method paper, but this is the main topic. Then research paper, I mean, popularly known as journal article, and the systematic literature review, how we can do and how we can publish in high impact factor journal. This is the main secret. Okay, so let me go to the analysis. So first of all, actually, let me know what is the impact factor. So actually, if someone would like to calculate the impact factor for a journal in 2022, then he or she has to count how many papers published in the last 2 years. I mean, if someone would like to calculate the impact factor in 2022, then he or she or journal need to calculate how many paper published in 2020 and 2021, and at the same time is the ratio with how many citations that journal got actually in that 2020 and 2021, right, and divided. So for example, is the example, if I'm not wrong, this is the example of Journal of Retailing and Consumer Service. Right now its impact factor is 10. So this impact factor is applicable for 2022. That is why it's calculating just Journal of Retailing and Consumer Service published 4017 paper in 2020 and 4682 paper in 2021. So it's divided by the number of citation. I mean, 2021 and 2022 in total citation number is 840. I mean 840. So it's divided by, right? So the impact factor is equal to 10.4, right? So in this way we can calculate the impact factor. So impact factor actually depends on number of citation, right? So why it is important? It's the main factor. So why impact factor is important? There are lots of journals, actually thousands of millions of journals, right? So why the impact factor is impact? Actually, impact factor indicates the journal's quality. In some cases, it reflects its prestige. On the other hand, it reflects how valuable the journal is, right? And in some cases, dear audience, actually, in many cases, when you will apply for the higher education, the employer or the university don't ask about your project. I mean, don't ask what is your project title, but they are eagerly waiting in which journal you published. That is the main factor. So what is the journal article title? It doesn't matter in which but in which journal you published your paper. This is the factor. So impact factor actually indicates that it's a very good journal. Higher impact factor, it means yeah, higher quality, right? And lower impact factor, it means the lower quality. It's the simply. And actually, there are lots of benefits and opportunities when you are when you wanted to publish your paper in a high impact factor journal. So first opportunity, actually, their uniqueness, the high impact factor journals uniqueness is focusing on the original research question. For example, uh, there are lots of, for example, I'm talking about the digital dividends or the circular economy topics, or the digital economy, or in some cases marketing analytics. So whatever it is, the topics of the research doesn't matter. So when you review the literature, you will find lots of in some cases hundreds of thousands of paper published related to your topics. For example, circular economy. For example, marketing analytics, right? For example, health analytics. So lots of paper. You will find thousands of paper in numerous database that published. But how your research actually exceptional rather than that types of publication, right? What is already done. So it's a common question in the second point. It's a common question containing the new findings. It's a common question. What's new in your paper? What's new? So actually, the good impact factor journal or quality journal seeks what's new in your paper, what's new in your study, what's new in your research, whatever it is. Think about you are facing or making you are presenting in your defense, I mean master's defense or PhD defense. But first of all, lots of professor actually throw a question, what's new in your dissertation, what's new in your paper, what's new in your thesis, right? So high impact factor journal actually seeks what's new findings in your paper and stimulate the additional study. Think about, for example, you are searching a paper and maybe you are thinking about a research question. Actually, you thought it's a very good research question, but in some cases, after a certain period, you saw, oh my God, the topic's already published, right? Then there is a new window. So what is the new window? New window, it means maybe you can extend their research. Actually, it's the research. What is research? If I think about the definition of research, so we can define research, right? So search means it means searching something and re it again. So research, it means again searching something what has already explored, but I need to explore many things. So you need to stimulate the additional study. And finally, how your research contribute in scientifically, theoretically, or how your research would be implemented in society, in nation, or in broad some cases the globally, right? But there is a problem. Problem is high impact factor journals acceptance rate is too low. For example, if you think about the MISQ, I mean Management Information System quarterly, GISQ, Government Information quarterly, right? So this is the high impact factor journal. On the other hand, A-star journal, International Journal of Information Management, but their acceptance rate is too slow. I mean, in some cases, 3%, 5%, 1%, right? Because they get lots of volume, but they didn't consider they don't consider actually the low quality paper. So after selecting a high impact factor journal, actually you need to focus the above 4 points. So focus on the original research questions. So what's in your paper? What's new in your research? Right. Continue the new findings and stimulate the additional studies, significant scientific contribution. But there is a problem. Acceptance rate is too low actually. Okay. Uh, there you will find lots of maybe you will have a question how we can understand what is the impact factor, right? And how we can understand this is the good journal. Actually there are lots of uh, indexing or ranking site. So among them it depends on actually regional. If you try for Australia, or if you live in Australia, or if you're a scholar in Australia, then you can follow the ABDC ranking, Australia's Business Deans Council's ranking, right? On the other hand, globally or worldwide, it is renowned the Scopus ranking. Or in some cases, if you think about our Asian or the American perspective, in that case, you can think about the JCR, I mean Journal Citation Report. What I say that clarivative, right? So in that, on the other hand, if you think about the, you will go to the European Union country, I mean the 27 country, I mean Europe. In that case, you need to follow the ABS ranking, right? On the other hand, if you are from business domain, there are another ranking, that is the ABS ranking. So you will have lots of ranking, but we always talk about the JCR, ABDC, Scopus, and ABS. These are the four prominent ranking style, and you will find, dear audience, you will find the ABDC journal ranking list from this website. The web link is in here, and you can search the Scopus link is in here, right? So you can make a search. So, and I told already that higher impact factor, it means the quality journal. So the top 25% is the Q1, and the next 25% is Q2, and the next 25% is the Q3, and the last 25% is the Q4, right? So this is the classification of the quantile. Uh, but we are talking about how to publish a good impact factor journal. Actually, good impact factor journal, if I go back to the previous slide here, so if I go here, first one, focusing on original research question. So you need to identify some emerging topics. So actually, where will you find the emerging topics and how you can make a good research problem, how you can identify a good research problem or excellent research gap. So my suggestion is to follow some topics. You can follow some high impact factor journal. For example, I am a researcher in information system, so I always follow my top journal actually in my domain, right? For example, MISQ, ISR, information system research, journal of MIS, decision support system, right? Information organization, information and management. On the other hand, journal of business research. So you always should look at to the top journal, and you can follow that what types of paper they are publishing. And maybe you can sorry, I'm sorry, you can I'm sorry, I was just uh, in some cases or in many cases you just need to follow the limitation on future research. Actually, the top researcher left some opportunity for the future researchers in the limitation and future research topics. So if you follow the limitation and future research topics of the top journal, and if you can start from their gap, I think it would be the good contribution in the society or scholarly work. On the other hand, if you would like to know the emerging topics or the concurrent topics of the uh, or emerging or excellent topics of the research, or if you would like to find the research gap, in that case you can follow the some excellent conference. For example, International Conference of Information System, right? It's a big conference worldwide. There are some other version of that information system conference, like American Conference of Information System or Australasian Conference of Information System, right? Why International Conference of Social Science, like this. So my suggestion is to follow the recent conference and the recent issue of the top journal, and please focus on the limitation and future research study, and you will find a good research gap and you can follow, so that you can your contribution, your research gap or your research problem would be the most influential for the future research. In that case you can uh, search the most excellent research gap and you can publish the high impact factor journal, right? Okay, so next one is first of all, actually, in many cases, when I was learning in my honors level, I am in bachelor, masters, and even when I was I was doing my PhD. Actually, uh, the first topics was research, identify the problem. We learned this from many numerous book. Actually, I cannot. Right now it's quite difficult to say lots of book. For example, research methodology from Gupta and Gupta, I mean the Indian book, right? On the other hand, the Jigmon's book, business research, right? So we learned that identify the problem is the first step of the research or doing research. But right now, or in recently, actually, I attended lots of conferences, including the MISQ author development course, right? So numerous scholars are saying that, so fix your objective first, and maybe after that, concurrently, you will explore these questions actually from the literature. What has already researched? What has already researched, and what's explored new idea? I mean, what didn't explode actually, right? And on the other hand, so you can collect the data, or you are to design a research. I mean, the research design. According to this, you can collect the data and answer by your own data. In some cases, maybe it's quite difficult to collect the primary data. In that cases, you need to identify the sorry, you need to use the secondary data. But actually, secondary data mostly used in time series data or panel data actually. On the other hand, in my domain and information system research, actually primary data is excellent. But right now we are facing lots of problem actually, where we researchers from Bangladesh and some developing country, many of I faced lots of problem when editor or editor in chief says that this data is from Bangladesh. Oh my god, this is from Bangladesh, is not the authentic data. I'm not sure what about the situation in Pakistan, but we face the problem actually, because still we are suffering for a data hub. We don't have a data hub still now. There are some opportunity for the open data, government open data, but we think for research it's very, very limited, not the concurrent data, right? So my suggestion is to publish on the high impact factor journal after your literature review or during your literature review. You always search what has already researched, and next question, what did not explore. So two term, what already researched or explored, what didn't explore, and I'm going to answer these types of questions and the research gap by collecting the data in my situation, right? My concrete situation. So this is the most important factor actually. So first of all, when as an editor, as an editor in chief in my domain, or as a reviewer, my first expression, the quality of study design. Quality of study design, it doesn't indicate the methodology section. I mean the section 3, or in some cases section 4. It doesn't mean the methodology. It means from title to conclusion or appendix. So how actually you designed your study, you first to do it, right? So the quality study design, it enhance the acceptance rate of the quality journal. But many manuscript actually rarely answer this the mechanism. uh, I received lots of uh, manuscript from plus one, and when I review some paper, actually after initially screening the abstract and introduction, I rejected lots of paper because of it's the waste of time, because they didn't design their study in a qualitative way, in the scientific mechanism way, right? So please focus on that. And to design a quality study, my suggestion is to engage an statistician from the beginning of the research, not in the middle of the research or end of the project, right? So my suggestion is to involve a statistician, so he can design, or he or she can design the research, and the quality study design, it enhance your acceptability in the good impact factor, sorry, high impact factor journal actually. So you must define the primary endpoint before you start. It doesn't mean when you finished your literature review, you will do a uh, uh, study design. No, please do the study design first, from first to last, and after that you should start. Without study design, please don't start your writing. My suggestion, right? Okay. Then it's after I told you that the when I was studying, so first option you have to identify the problem. But in the previous slide, I said that please fix your objective. Then on that objective, you can identify problem. So you can design the research in this way. First of all, identify a problem, reviewing the literature. So literature could be divided into two part. One is the contextual. For example, we are talking about, or we are doing a research in circular economy or the digital economy or the health analytics. So in that case, you can do a literature review on the digital economy or circular economy or health analytics. But in second part, my suggestion is to explore what types of theory they used, and what is the gap in context of your study in the previous theory, and how you can introduce or explore the new idea, or you can extend the theoretical contribution, so it can be a good contribution. So please, during your literature review, so please focus on this, right? There are two types of review: contextual and the theoretical, right? And then the setting the research questions, objective and hypothesis. If your research is in the experimental or the cross sectional, or if you think that your research is the empirical study, right? So you need to consider the hypothesis. In some cases, you will find lots of research. You don't need to consider the hypothesis. For example, case study, for example, methodological paper, no need to consider the hypothesis. But for empirical study, please do this. So actually, this part actually the just a example. It's not that you need to follow this strictly, right? But this is the example. So that is so you can make your study design in this way first, then you can start your uh, writing, right? Okay. uh, so my simple secret actually, please be scientific and write your paper just like in a story. For example, I'm not sure about any song or any popular song or any popular movie in or drama in Pakistan. Can you please, Professor Shah, can you please suggest me a drama name or popular movie in Pakistan?
Prof, I'm not sure about the drama right now, since you know that.
Okay, okay. Let me start an example. Actually, in Bangladesh, lots of popular song, drama, and movie. Right? Still, some days ago, one of the most popular writer in Bangladesh, Dr. Humayun Ahmed, right? He passed away some years before. So he made some I mean directed and writing and directed some drama in 19 decades. First drama is in 1980, 89, 1982, right? Sorry, 92. And after that, he was very popular. But honestly, he was a professor of chemistry. But in Bengali literature, he put lots of contribution, right? If we think about after Rabindranath, after Nazrul, after Manik Bandyopadhyay, Dr. Humayun Ahmed was very contributor in the Bengali literature. So why he is popular? Why? Because he was a chemistician, right? He has a professor of chemistry, but he is popular in Bengali literature, Bengali drama, movie. Why? Because of the sequence. Still I saw some drama which was produced in 1992, right? When I was maybe 6 or 7 years old. So there are some drama. Actually, why they were so popular? Because of the sequence of study. Right now, lots of drama, lots of music, lots of song in the YouTube channel, but not like there is not much popular like that. Why? Because maybe the sequence is not good. So simple secret is, please be consistent actually from paragraph to paragraph. For example, you are in your introduction section, maybe 3 or 4 paragraphs. So please, the last line of the first paragraph should be consistent with the first line of the second paragraph, and consequently. So if you don't make this consistent, I think your paper will not be good. And on the other hand, think about very narrow stage. First sentence definitely related to the second sentence. Second sentence related to third sentence, right? So please be consistent. Otherwise, just make a story. When you write your scientific paper, just like think about a popular drama, popular movie, how sequential they are, right? So how, think about how the first paragraph and second paragraph is linked, is consistent. How your first line and second line is consistent. Otherwise, you cannot. Your story will not go. So if you make a story with the consistent way, I think your paper will be more storyable. So think about beginning. I think the introduction section. So middle, I think the literacy section and the beginning. It means the introduction section and the literature review section. In the middle, I think the methodology section and result section. At the end, discussion and conclusion section. But please take back to home. What you read in your what you write about the research question in the introduction section. Are you introducing or answering that types of research question or that research specific research question at the discussion or not? Please be consistent. For example, we write a research question in the introduction section, but we are answering in the discussion section in a different way. So in this way, you cannot publish your paper. So think about when you are in ending process of your paper, I mean in discussion section, right? Please go back to the home. What you write in the introduction section, what was your research question? Did you answer the research question? If yes, okay, it's fine. If not, no, please once again, please revise it, right? Please be consistent. So actually, other scientists would want to know what you did and why you did, why your paper is important. The first question of the editor in chief, first question of the reviewer, first question of associate editor or academic editor, what's new in your paper, why you did, why your paper is important, because you have already reviewed lots of literature, right? Maybe 150 literature already, right? It means already on your topic lots of paper already published. So why your paper is important? So you need to give these types of answer why your paper is important, right? And the common question, what's new in your paper? So whenever you are in dissertation, I mean the thesis defense, master thesis defense, PhD thesis defense, or you are publishing a paper, common question, what's new in your study, right? So please uh, be consistent and keep your mind what's new in your study. Without a very significant research question or research problem, high impact factor journal will not accept your paper. So please consider it. So this is the general component actually. So yeah, who are working with the paper, I mean the who has the expertise or who are trying to publish a paper. This is the common, the title, abstract, keyword, introduction, and then literature review, methodology, result section, discussion, conclusion, acknowledgement. Right? This is the common. So it's the common component. But to publish a high impact factor journal, please read the author guideline. In many cases, for example, think about an experimental research, I mean the COVID specification or like that. So in that case you will not find the literature review. Think about you are writing a paper on COVID in 2021 January or 2020 in March or April. So where is literature review? You don't have any literature. Maybe you get some literature, some other influenza, other virus like Zika virus, like other virus, but you will not find some literature on the COVID-19, right? So in some cases, when it is the very empirical paper or the action research, so don't need the literature. So please focus on your author guideline, in which journal you targeted, right? So after reading the author guideline, you will find. But this is an example of the generalized example actually. For example, if you would like to submit a paper in the Ilsbeer or Emerald, right? So they usually follow these types of uh, component. Otherwise, my suggestion is to follow the author guideline before publishing the uh, before submitting in that journal, right? So please, so this is the general information. Before submit, please, there are some writing specialists. Main objective, your main objective is to sell your paper to the journal. This is the main objective actually. I write a paper, I have already finished a paper, right? Maybe I revised, my supervisor revised the paper and gave me green signal, please now submit the paper. But please, just your objective is to sell your paper to the journal. So what you should do, you need to make a cover letter. So in the cover letter, my suggestion, be sincere about your editor in chief's name, and if possible, please don't write dear editor in chief. Please write dear the name of the editor in chief. In some cases, they will be happy, right? But in the cover letter, I told you in the first point, the main objective is sell your manuscript, right? So to sell your manuscript to the journal, please highlight the novel aspect. Words I talked about in the last slide, what's new in your paper, please focus or highlight in the cover letter what's new in your paper, how why it is important, how it would the prospective contribution to the scholar, right? So please highlight the main novel aspect and probe the logic. Don't stop the sentence. After highlighting your novel aspect, don't writing the another sentence. Please give the logic, one line or two line logic in the cover letter, why this work fit for the journal, is your work fit for, or it the aligns with the journal aim and scope or not, right? Okay. On the other hand, it's the second option. Make sure your cover letter contains this sentence. Actually, in many cases, for example, Journal of Business Research, Journal of Business Ethics, technological forecasting and social science, they expect actually this contribution. On the other hand, there are lots of ethical issue. So right now, many journals, including the PLOS one, including some top journal, include MISQ or other, so please confirm the contribution or the sorry please confirm that you didn't submit your paper simultaneously in two or three journals. So please confirm that I submitted this paper only in your journal, I didn't consider simultaneously to the other journal. And in some cases mention the funder's name in acknowledgement, and some ethical issue, right? In many journal, actually top journal, consider these types of ethical issue. So please consider this before submitting your paper. So I think you have already write a paper and revised your paper, but you are going to submit your paper. Please, before submitting your paper, this is the checklist actually. So I'm not talking about much on this uh, checklist. I will share this checklist or this presentation to the casual via the professor Dr. Shah, right? So you can take a look after that. But in some cases, so please focus on your title. It should be concise actually, right? On the other hand, when you write your abstract, please be focused. When you see the journal of in many journal in Emirate, you will see the structured abstract. So please be specific. The objective, method, originality, result, and what's novelty. Please be ensured, right? So on the other hand, is there aim specific for informatics? If you would like to submit a special issue, right? So please focus on the special issue aim and scope. On the other hand, in many journal, there are some formatting issue. For example, Times New Roman 10 digit, right? Line space should be the 1.5. In some cases, for example, Journal of Business Research, they consider the double line space, right? So I submitted a paper, but they immediately get back to me. Why? Because I didn't make it the double line space. So ridiculous, right? And in some cases, there are some word limits, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000. So please, before submitting your paper, check these options. Otherwise, it will be back to you before go to the editor in chief. Maybe the editorial office will back to you. On the other hand, please be ensured the plagiarism, actually similarity index, less than, my suggestion is 10%, but my suggestion is 5%. In some cases, they consider less than 10% in maximum. But many journal, actually they are the Q2, Q3 journal. In some cases, they accept the 15% similarity index, but the top journals don't accept the similarity index less than more than 10%. And in some cases, they said the less than 5%. So please be ensured that your plagiarism or the similarity index is too low, right? Okay. I think I have already told this, right? So when you submit the paper, please follow the so maybe write a cover letter, a title page. In the title page, just think two things. One, the title of the paper and the author list, and in some cases, and the affiliation. Not must here. And who is the corresponding author? highlights what's new in your paper, what is the main contribution, right? Main manuscript without author details. Many journal I found actually recently, uh, the author names is in the title, right? Title page, in the title page. So the top journals, actually the main high impact factor journals, maintain the blind review process, right? So actually they follow the blind review process. So if you put your name, I mean, if it is not the blind, if you put your name affiliation in the title page and make it the main file of the manuscript, so it will be problematic and it will back to you, right? So any specific requirement, for example, font, line space, reference style, some journals actually expect the numbering, right? In some journals expect the Harvard style, AP style, but commonly AP is fine. Okay, so please follow the specific requirement of that journal. uh, why actually Dex reject? So main Dex rejection, lack of novelty, and it is a descriptive work rather than mechanistic work. I told in the previous study, slide, that please make sure your study design is excellent. So if your study designing excellent, I mean your paper is like a mechanistic work rather than the descriptive, I think it will not get the text rejection, right? So please once again follow the uh, quality study design, right? Okay, I mean the mechanistic work. Okay, it poses an uh, uninteresting question that leads nowhere. Actually, you will find right now I get lots of uh, submission related to COVID actually, right? But recently I don't get any, I didn't accept any paper what is related to COVID. Why? Because of, I think it's already uh, lost its acceptance or popularity, because thousands of paper already published on COVID. On the other hand, I recently still I got some prediction paper, right? Maybe that paper got lots of rejection. Still we don't have the COVID-19, or we are in very late stage in COVID-19, but I'm still getting some paper prediction of COVID-19 forecasting research, time series forecasting. So it's it's already done, so there is nothing new in this paper. So I don't accept actually usually these types of paper where I see the COVID related. Okay, fine, there are some paper post COVID related, post COVID effect. So there might be the novelty, but COVID related something or prediction paper actually it lost its novelty. So please be focused on the novelty, right? It has a poor and inappropriate study design. Already told that, right? Okay. Uh, External. Okay. Let me say that your paper already passed the initial screening, and now your paper screened by the editor in chief and associate editor. Now your paper is in under review. So what reviewer expect actually? This is the expectation of reviewer, right? So once again, study design. Reviewer first see the study design, your methodology, lack of novelty actually is similar to the editor in chief and the associate editor, what is already explored, right? And editor also, reviewer also look at these types of topics, and lack of clear message. If you have the lack of clear notice, your paper will not be published in good impact factor journal. Maybe it will accept in Q3 or Q4, but not in, yeah, high impact factor, right? There are some other part actually when you uh, publish or in the review stage, actually reviewer um, think about some silly matters or very small issue. For example, table number is not in your uh, in text. Your in-text citation and the reference is not matching, right? The rationality of your study is very poor. You make some graph or model which is very confusing, right? So reviewer actually focus on this, right? On the other hand, actually reviewer would like to know the main contribution, how your study, your research will contribute to the society, will contribute to the specific stakeholder. For example, I'm working a circular economy on RNG sector. I mean the garment sector, right? Garments industry sector. So reviewer would like to know how your paper or my paper will contribute to the garments industry. So please be specific, your practical contribution in managerial contribution, right? So reviewer will actually focus on this issue after screening from the editor in chief and associate editor. So please make sure these types of point in your review stage actually. So what's next? Maybe in the first review you will get the major revision or the minor revision, right? So it's a big chance actually to enhance or improve your manuscript. For example, your manuscript if rejected, don't be demotivated, right? It's a natural. For example, actually, in last week, I got a rejection from energy economics after 13 months later. I submitted a paper 13 months ago, actually, in the last year. So after 13 months, so they gave the rejection. So actually, it's natural. I cannot do something, right? So what is my opportunity? My opportunity is to address that types of comments to my current version and submit to the another quality journal. So energy economics is a A-star journal, right? So the comments from the reviewer definitely help you to enhance the quality of your paper. So don't be demotivated, just cool. Don't make yourself a emotional person. Oh my god, my paper is rejected, right? After 13 months later, it's natural. It's natural actually. But if you have the opportunity to resubmit, I mean, if you have the decision letter, the major revision, minor revision, so it's very, very important for you because you have the opportunity to resubmit the paper just which you forgot to introduce, right? So you can enhance the quality of the paper, right? So in the revision stage, you can do it. On the other hand, uh, mind you reference actually. In many journal, for example, MISQ, they specifically told you that follow our guideline. So if you would like to maintain the MISQ referencing system, you don't need to do much. Please use a software, I mean reference manager software, for example, InNote, Mendeley, GTRO, right? So easily you can convert it in from one format to another format, from MISQ to Harvard, Harvard to APA, APA to number, number to any other, right? So my suggestion is to use any types of reference manager, for example, InNote, Mendeley, GTRO, or whatever it is. I mean, it depends on your comfort actually, right? So please focus on the in-text citation and the main reference list and the style of the reference list. So it's important, right? Okay. There are some acknowledgement like your advisor, your financial supporter, funding body. You can mention in the uh, acknowledgement, but it is important to mention the ethical issue that you didn't consider any types of human or animal in your study, right? So it's actually for business research or uh, actually it's important for life science research, not in business research time series study. It doesn't matter, right? Okay. uh, so it's all about actually you can I prepared my slide based on these four references. If you can find or search these types of references, actually you will find what I said actually for further reading. So these three papers is very, very good paper actually. I'm in the editorial and paper. You can follow these three papers uh, for to learn how to publish in high impact factor journal, right? So disclaimer, actually I have already told that I prepared my slide within these four references. Okay, so I think it's time to questions answer. If you have any question, please, I'm happy to answer, and I'll try my best to answer.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Prof. Really, it was a wonderful presentation, and the way you just explain each and everything was so great.
Thank you
And there
so
was a
much.
question before our session started by the our audience that what is impact factor, and I love the way because you had already prepared the slide and you mentioned it at your first slides that what is impact factor, and you have shown the formula as well for that purpose. And I love the way you explain each and everything right from the beginning. I love the way you talked about the role of the external reviewer, even the research process itself. And I love your uniqueness of the research. That is the gist of the research which we talk about, the novelty and all these things. You did not provide only the author perspective, but you also provided the reviewer perspective, editor in chief perspective, the associate editor, and the academic editor perspective as well. So I think it was a blend of so many things, and you have given a wonderful introduction and wonderful orientation regarding the whole process, not only the objective problem statement, research design, but also discussion. And I love the way you just talk about that research design is not about the methodology section, but it is related to that how you are going to end the research from where
Right.
you started it. Yes, so that was the gist of the everything. Because, and it, dear prof, it reminded me my 3 years in University of Malaya, that we learn these kind of things in 3 years, because a lot of rejection, lot of trial and error process. And
Right,
now
right.
you made it very easy for our audience to learn it, and from your experiences and from your insights. Because as I mentioned earlier, that it's not only the author side, but it's all the other way around as well. That other side of the table, that how does the reviewer they evaluate your manuscript when they receive it. Even I love the way you talked about the desk rejection, causes for desk rejection, because most of the time our young researchers they sometimes they have these kind of problems, that they face the desk rejection. I think that is some kind of giving them the demoralization, that why our paper is being desk rejected, even not go through the review process. So I love this session because it was a very fruitful. It was full of your experiences and insights. So wonderful. And I would say that so many questions you have already addressed in your wonderful slides and powerful explanation. But
Thank
there are
you.
certain questions which needs your explanation and elaboration. So should we
Please.
start with the first question,
Yeah,
please?
sure, sure, sure. Please.
Okay, the first question they want to ask that, Prof, how do you identify the right high impact journal for your research topic? Yes, please.
Actually, I told that in my slide. You need to know, or you can follow some uh, ranking style, right? I told that if you are in Europe, right? So please follow the ABS ranking. If you are in America or Asia, please follow the JCR ranking. I mean, clarify, right? Or the Scopus ranking. Or in Australia, ABDC ranking that gives value actually, right? So it depends on. For example, when I was in China, uh, they follow the SSCI list, right? But when I was in Bangladesh, when I came to the Bangladesh, they follow the Scopus list. So actually, it depends on where we are working, right? So
Yes. Right.
your question is how we can understand the this is the high impact factor journal in my domain. So my suggestion is to download. Actually, it's freely available, right? Except the JCR ranking. Right now, JCL ranking, you can maybe just browse the yeah. On the other hand, you can download that types of file from the research grade or the Google, right? So just download the list as per your own requirement, ABDC, Scopus, or any others, and uh, just see what is the number of impact factor. 10 impact factor, it means the good journal. 1 impact factor, it means the low quality journal. But there is a contradiction actually I'm addressing. For example, in some days ago, still in information system research, we think that the MISQ, Management Information System Quarterly, or the Journal of Strategic Information System, right? This is the high impact factor journal. but if their impact factor is less than 10, right? Right now, the MISQ impact factor is 5 point something, but the International Journal of Information Management impact factor is 22. Right. So maybe in some cases it's the how can I say, it's the exception case actually. Still, the information system research are considered the MISQ is the very best journal rather than the International Journal of Information Management. I'm not sure actually as a scholar I should say this or not, but I'm talking about because in our domain, MISQ, it means, oh my God, it's a big issue, right? Big journal, high impact factor journal. For example, the father of information, so sorry, not father of information system, right now the highly cited researcher Professor Venkatesh, right? So the introducer of TAM model, UTOT model, Professor Venkatesh. So Professor Venkatesh recently published a paper in MISQ. It took around 5 years. It took around 5 years. He submitted this first version initially in 2017, but the paper recently come to the MISQ. So, so for Venkatesh, it took 5 years. So think about, right? But not in the other journal. So this is the exception case actually. In some cases, basically, I say some editor actually push. Please cite some paper from my journal, right? But MISQ will not push you. Please cite some journal from my journal. So that is why actually maybe the low impact factor, right? But this is the exceptional case. But high impact factor, it means high impact factor number. So usually greater than 10 is equal to high impact factor. On the other hand, usually less than 3 is a low impact factor. But on the other hand, if here I'm not sure, is there anyone here from life science? So some paper of life science, for example, Nature or other paper, so their impact factor or some paper, I know some journal, optoelectronics, right? So their impact factor is normally 20, 22, 25, 30, like this. So it depends actually on your domain. So in which domain you are from, business, it's okay. 10 impact factor, it means big things. But if you are from life science, so 10, 12, 13, it doesn't matter from the for the professor, right? So it depends actually. But usually high number, high impact factor number indicates the high impact factor, low impact factor numbers, it indicates the low end, uh, low quality journal, right?
Yes, bro. Thank you very much,
I
Prof.
think, yeah,
Yeah, you have addressed it very well, and you have said it very rightly that you spoke about in your presentation that whichever place you are located, you have to follow that ABS, the ABDC, or the JCR, which standard they follow, and you have to follow that one. And again, I remember you one of your slide in which you have mentioned the quartile Q1, Q2,
right.
Q3, Q4. These are the also different metrics to gauge the journal, and they can see that which one is having a high impact, and then they can submit it. And very nicely you have talked about the exceptional cases as well.
Yeah,
Again,
thank you.
you have recommended the discipline wise, that you have to consider that which discipline you are, because then again the impact factor will matter regarding to the discipline itself. So thank you very much for highlighting it very well. And now we have
Yeah,
another very interesting question, since we live
please.
in the era of the AI. So the audience have asked a very interesting question. They want to ask that, are there any new tools or technologies that can aid researchers in the publication process? Yes, please.
Actually, it's difficult to say because right now we are facing lots of problems. So number one, when I was taking some assignment from the assignment, I mean the research topics or the research project from the students, when they submit the hard copy, it's quite difficult to identify, right? But right now is the era of ChatGPT. On in some cases, recently, maybe yesterday or day before yesterday, I noticed that Facebook, I mean Meta, already launched another generative AI like ChatGPT, right? So actually, I think if you'd like to mm, uh, do research in your own domain, uh, please use the technology as a tools, not the generative something. The generative, so it will damage your brain. You will not how can I say, uh, more creative actually if you depends on the new tools and techniques. On the other hand, for example, if you think about the analytical tools, you can use the technology in your research. For example, you are managing your reference, so please use the technology. Use InNote, Mendeley, Jitteru, or blah blah blah. Lots of tools actually. Okay, fine. Uh, in some cases, you need the analytical tools. Okay, lots of technologies actually. You can take SPSS, Stata, EVOS, MATLAB, Python. In some cases, Weka. It depends on you. But if you'd like to make or write a paper based on technology, for example, the generative AI like ChatGPT, I think it will damage your brain, your creativity. So use the technology like InNote for referencing. Use any kind of analytical tools, for example, SmartPLS, Amos, or any other tools you can take. In some cases, I suggest the generative AI if actually we are not from the English speaking country, right? We are from developing country, and we are English is the second language. But uh, when we would like to publish a paper in a high impact factor journal, language is a matter. For example, I'm talking about in this platform, my speech. I know that is not a very good, well presented, but Dr. Shah, I noticed actually you are a good, very good moderator. I'm not actually. So, uh, in that case, actually, we are sorry, English is the second language for us, right? So you can take help from technology like Grammarly, Quillboard for ensuring the grammatical error, sorry, to avoiding the grammatical error, right? But please don't try to write something who is using the generative AI, for example, ChatGPT or other. So I think the new tools and technology is okay, but for writing a paper to publish in a good journal, new technology like generative AI will damage your brain and creativity. I think so. So please don't use that types of technology, but use these types of technology like referencing style, like analytical tools, right? Please do it. Please don't follow or don't depends on the generative AI tools. Any types of generative AI,
Yeah.
ChatGPT, Meta Analytics, and Google already launched the birds, right? So please.
Yes, Prof. Thank you very much for such a wonderful answer, and I love.
I'm sorry, Professor. I'm sorry. I'm just interrupting you.
Please,
Recently,
please.
I noticed some researcher, and I found some paper actually. Uh, uh, in many cases, actually, systematic literature review, right? So usually we do systematic literature review using using the GTRO software. In some cases, who are not used to the GTRO software, many researchers I noticed they use the uh, Microsoft Excel also, right? But who are is in advanced level, they use some software like NVivo, right? But right now we noticed there are some generative AI site. If you just give the link to that website, that website actually make a summary or identify some themes, what is the thematic analysis or the content analysis in front of you, right? So actually it damages your brain. It's uh,
Yes.
damages your creativity. So please don't do this. These types of generative AI I don't suggest when you are a researcher actually, because research is first of all the ethics. Right?
Very,
Uh,
very true. Yeah. Yeah. Prof, I loved the way you just spoke about that we should be using these technologies as a tool, and we should not be using it as generative one, so that it could make a differentiate between, because we will lose our creativity and we will lose the skills when we are totally depending upon these kind of AI, so it means as a human we will lose the integrity of creativity.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I
Even
believe
I'm really confused about our student. Really
yes,
confused. What is the future of these types of students? In
yeah,
last
I,
semester, I noticed I gave some assignment to my students actually. Uh, Lots of percentage that chat GPT, I mean AI generated, right?
yeah,
So I gave the second chance because of I just try to teach them about the morality, ethics. That is why I
yes.
gave the second chance. So please don't do this in future, right? So
Yeah.
I'm really confused about this generation's generative AI uses.
Yeah, true, very true. And I think a lot of researchers, scientists, they are concerned regarding the use and implementation of the AI. And
AI,
all
right,
these technologies are here to aid us, to support us, but not to write the whole thing for us. I think
right,
we should use it intelligently and ethically, and that would make us stand out from the crowd that we are doing the real research, we are doing the real impact, and these things are just here to support us, as you mentioned very nicely, that Zotero, the EndNote, Mendeley, these are there to support us in reference style, etc. But we should not be asking any software to write for us, because this is our job and we should be doing it our wholeheartedly and ethically. So
right.
very nicely you have answered this one.
Thank
And
you.
now another very interesting question that is regarding to the future of researcher, which you have already highlighted. But now let me just ask this question, which is very interesting one. They want to ask that can you provide insights into the future of academic publishing and how it might impact researchers' publication strategies? So again, if we link it to the AI, to the technology, how do you see the future of researcher and the way of publication, since you are by yourself editor and doing so many reviews, so you are reviewer, author and editor at the same time? So how do you see the future? Yes, please.
Actually, the question is, can you please provide insight into the future of academic publishing, right? So, for example, every day, actually, lots of reporting is doing or done by lots of organizations, thousands of millions of organizations. Every day, each and every day, they are documenting their uh, report, right? But documenting their report, I mean business report or the hospital report or any other report, uh, it will not expand the knowledge actually, because it's the tacit knowledge, not explicit knowledge. Tacit knowledge, it means you are keeping your knowledge in your head, right? So explicit knowledge, you are just we are just expanding the, right? For example, this platform, this is the Kalas, right? So we are talking here because of explicit knowledge. We are trying to expand our knowledge, and we would not like to keep our knowledge only on our mind or brain, right? So future academic publishing is very important because of my creativity, uh, my knowledge will not explode by the others if I take it into on my mind or on my brain only. So how do you, how will you document? On the other hand, maybe he or she documented his knowledge, discovery, creativity, but you need to expand for the future generation, right? That is why academic publishing is important, because without academic publishing, it's quite difficult to expand the knowledge. For example, I'm doing a research. Maybe I found a variation. For example, I'm a researcher of life science, right? Maybe I found a new variation of COVID-19. I researched that. I documented that. I reported that. But after a certain period, I documented at a soft copy in my personal computer or my organizational database, right? And a hard copy. I have a hard copy. And I disseminated the hard copy to some relevant stakeholder. But it's quite difficult to share this knowledge globally. So to share this knowledge globally, right? So academic publication is very, very important. I think so. Otherwise, knowledge will be in a warehouse, will be in a warehouse or storeroom, not it will expand globally. Because just I gave an example. I discovered a new variant of COVID-19. So if I don't expand this knowledge, if I don't uh, expand this knowledge to the global community, right? So they will not understand. So to expand the knowledge, you academic publishing is a very important actually,
Very
rather
true.
than rather than the rather than the organizational reporting type, right?
That's very true, and I think these are the documented, are recorded history for upcoming generation to learn from it, and we learn through the different books and different research. And this is how, as you mentioned in your wonderful presentation as well, that the good researcher they always give the limitation at the end of the research
Right.
and shows the path for the future research that which venues they can conduct a research. So I think this is the legacy, and this is called the collectivism, that we are doing research and we are leaving the trail for the another one so that they can take the new path and will come up with the new findings and implications for the society practitioners and theoretical as well. Thank you very much. And since we have the time limitation, one last question, I think very
Yeah.
interesting question they want to ask. And the question is that, Prof, is it appropriate to cite an article which has been retracted? Yes, your take on that, please.
uh, it's difficult actually. Okay. Actually, my suggestion is to cite the appropriate references, right? So it doesn't matter. Sometimes, like I said that MISQ will not ask you, please do 5 citation from MISQ, right? So high impact factor journal normally don't ask you, doesn't ask you to make or put some citation from their journal, right? But it depends on study criteria, study requirement, importance. Because if you think one citation is very much important on your topics, so please do it, right? Whatever it is, that journal reacted or not, right? Whatever it is. So it doesn't matter about the that journal reacted or like that. But if you think that your that references is really related to your topics, so please do cite, right? Otherwise you can avoid this one. On the other hand, maybe I forgot to talk in my presentation. Another important issue. When will you put the references in text and main references side? So actually, it doesn't matter how many times you put your references in text. In main reference, it will one. It will count one. But my suggestion, actually, my sincere request also, uh, a single reference don't put more than 5 times in your paper. For example, you are citing my paper, for example, Nazmul 2020, right? In text, Hassan 2020. Okay. Please don't uh, put this single references, I mean, in text citation, not more than 5 times in a single paper. So it looks odd actually. And in some cases, reviewer and editor will not happy when will you use a specific citation more and more time. So please, not more than 5 times. This is my personal suggestion.
Yeah,
Uh,
thank you very much.
that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. I really love this session with you, Prof. So many interesting things you have shared with our audience. And as I mentioned earlier, that you have sum up the 2 3 years experiences in just 40 to 50 minutes of presentation. And I think everything was so genuine, everything was coming out of your heart, and you wanted to share with our audience whatever the journey you have gone through, the experiences you have from where you have learned, you shared with our audience from bottom of your heart, and which was very much visible in your tone, in your way of explanation, and your powerful content. I love that thing, and
Thank you.
thank you very much for sharing your wonderful knowledge with us. and with our audience from around the globe. And now, Prof, at the end of the session, we ask our each guest regarding their message to the world. So, what is your message to the world as a speaker, author, teacher, researcher, trainer, learner, professional, educator? Yes, please.
uh, Actually, in simple sentence, I wrote in my dissertation speech. Actually, right? Sorry, dissertation speech. There is no boundary for excellence. Actually, right? So, in your research, when you are writing your paper, please revise more and more time. There is no excellence for there is no boundary for excellence. So, if you get rejection one time, please modify according to their uh, review comments. If you get rejection again, so please modify again, right? uh, Once again, there is no boundary for excellence, right? So my suggestion is for future researcher or my junior researcher, I'm sorry for to say the junior, right? All are same, okay. My suggestion actually to be patient, be patient. Actually, to publish in a star journal, it's a dream, right? So I told that Professor Venkatesh, his citation is nearly 2 lakhs, 200,000 right now. So he published a paper by patienting with 5 years. He just waited 5 years for publishing a paper in MISQ. So we young generation actually we don't have the patience. We are too much excited. For me, after submitting a paper, every day I just check the status of the paper. So we have less patience, right? I noticed among my colleagues, among my students, uh, to make a good researcher themselves, they don't invest time. So my suggestion is to invest time. Please make a habit, minimum 1 hour reading, not writing, right? 1 hour reading, any types of journal paper, whatever it is. It's a life science, it's a business, it's a chemistry, it's a, any other domains. That doesn't matter. You need to follow the study design, right? Whatever it is, it's a life science paper, it's a business paper, it's a information systems paper, it's a any other domains paper, right? Optoelectronics paper, doesn't matter. Matter is you are following the uh, design, study design, how they design their paper, how they make a flow chart from title to appendix, right? So maybe you will not learn anything, maybe you will not gain anything, doesn't matter. But make a habit. I will read minimum 1 hour and will try to identify what types of research design that Q1 journal or A star journal follow or that researcher follow. What is my lackings? What I didn't follow, right? So be patient. Uh, it's enough, I think, so for to be a researcher.
Wow, what a powerful message you have given to the world. I love it that the excellence knows no boundaries and you have to work hard. And really, you have pointed out and you have highlighted this issue of we have less patience towards the things and
Right,
particularly application. So I believe that yes, we have to be patient and I think we should respect the process because the process makes us perfect, I would say kind of perfect, which is actually the refinement process and it will enhance day by day, moment by moment. The more we just go through the different research, we learn a lot. As you have given already the example of that if you read 1 hour a day, so definitely you will come across the different literature, the how they cited the problem, they cited the objectives, research question, how did they address, how they fine tune the methodology with the research objectives and question and so many things. So definitely we will learn so many things out of their work. And very rightly you have mentioned that then we can compare ourselves that what things we were ignoring or we were lacking in our study and how can we overcome those issues. So I would say that you have given one sentence message, but that is so powerful message to the world. So
thank you
thank
so
you
much.
once again, Prof. Yeah, thank you. And to the audience, that please do follow our distinguished guest speaker through his research work, and you can email him for future learning and guidance. He is very generous and always ready to help the people. That's all we have time for today. And thank you once again, Dr. Najmul Hasan, for
My
your
pleasure.
very, yeah, it was really great time with you. And I would like to thank our audience who joined us. If you have any additional questions about information shared today, please email us or connect to the speaker directly through his email or on social media account. Thank you all for your support and liking our session. Stay tuned as many sessions are on the way. Please do not miss any session. At the next session, take care of yourself.